Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing a review on the P6R Core QC. This is a flashlight by Ledlenser. It's a multicolored flashlight. So you've got different LEDs in there that produce different colored beams, white, green, it's got a blue beam and a red beam, and they all have different lumen outputs as well. So the green and the red, I think, produce from about 170 to 200 and something lumens. Blue produces 35 lumens, white produces the 270 lumens. For those of you who aren't familiar with Ledlenser, they have an advanced focusing system, so it is a patent. That's why you don't see too many of these flashlights out there, because they hold the patent to this actual technology, the zoomable lens. And I think it's a really cool function because it allows you to get a nice and wide flood beam and also a narrower beam if you need the flashlight for throw purposes, seeing for a further distance. And it's good to see that Ledlenser are now using rechargeable batteries inside their flashlights. The first Ledlenser product I purchased was about 12 years ago, and it ran on 3 AAA alkaline cells, and those were good at the time. But now that all the manufacturers are switching over to lithium ion, and you've got just better output with those batteries, more reliability, they don't leak, I don't see why all companies aren't using them now. So it is good to see that they have one of those batteries in there. I think the multicolored feature really drew me to this flashlight, because I don't have any flashlight that has that feature, and you'll be able to use it for all different kinds of purposes, including hunting, fishing, tracking. I think with that red light as well, that's pretty handy so that you don't ruin your night vision. And initially I was wondering with the flashlight whether it had multiple LEDs or whether there was just some kind of colored filter that was flicking in between the white light emitter in there. But what I realized after a bit of research was that it actually does feature 4 different colored LEDs. So I thought that was really good. And you can see some of the features, some of the things that it comes with in the box. You've got the battery, of course, it's a micro USB, so it's charged on micro USB. That's interesting. So you've got the P6R Core QC, and the battery, it's an 18650 battery, so pretty standard there, 207 grams. You've got a charging cable, USB charging cable, and it gives you the run times here of the flashlight as well. So on the boost mode, it doesn't have a boost mode, it looks like, but on the high mode you've got 270 lumens and then 15 lumens on the lowest mode, 335 meters for the throw of the beam, down to 80, 5-hour runtime on high, 110 on low. I thought this was pretty cool that they also included the color rendering index. So for those of you who are unaware of what this means, it's basically how easy it is to identify colors using this flashlight. Some flashlights have a really warm or a really cool colored beam, and that can get in the way of you interpreting colors when you use it. So for work purposes and any professional purposes, I think 80 plus is the minimum. I'd recommend 90 plus. And here's the color temperature, so 6500 cool white, so it is more on the cool side. And IP54 water resistant, so the packaging definitely looks more premium and has more information than other flashlights that I've reviewed. You can see here there's a little bit of a blurb here. The rechargeable Ledlenser P6R Core QC is 4-fold suitable for example hunting and fishing, because the QC in its name stands for Quattro Color and refers to its 4 practical light colors: normal white light, red light for glare-free night vision, green light for observing game, and blue light for tracking. If required, the P6R Core QC also has a strobe mode. You can therefore react correctly to every situation, or simply light up the forest path in front of you. So interesting, so you can activate all of the LEDs at the same time. This is a German engineered and designed flashlight. I had a P7 Ledlenser originally about 12 years ago, which was stolen out of my car, and I ended up replacing it with this one here, which is the P17. This is a much larger flashlight and runs on D cells. It's really good condition considering it's 10 years old, and I've been knocking this thing around. It's even still got the little sticker there on the front. So it produces about 200 lumens, has that same focusing mechanism. They may have changed it over the years, who knows. So I'm interested to have a look at it. But you know, the quality of this flashlight I thought was amazing, and it still is pretty good. Like if you look at that tail spring, check that out. Look at the chunkiness on that. And yeah, so I actually had a battery, an alkaline battery, leak in this thing, and you can see it in there. And I ended up having to clean it up. So that you've got to be careful with alkaline batteries. So I'm glad that they're now using rechargeable batteries. But this is still one of the flashlights that I keep around. I've also got a laser. I'm not sure which one this is. It's just a Ledlenser branded laser, and it's like a laser pen type of thing that I got ages ago. So still in really good condition. And yeah, I bought this, I think, just as a impulse buy about 10 or so years ago back in Perth. And anyway, let's move on and let's start opening up the box, see what's inside. 7-year warranty, that's good to know. Alrighty, so this is what you get inside the box, and there wasn't really anything much in there, just the container there for the flashlight, and it was made of paper. There's no plastic in there besides the little baggie for the battery. You've got the warranty card here, so that's interesting. It's also got some of their other products on the back in there, and that little brochure. Let's have a look what this one is. There's quite a few little pamphlets. This is the card, the Ledlenser card here. What else is this? They've got a little instruction booklet. Okay. So there's no, interestingly, there's nothing written, no English instructions. It's just a pictorial instruction. It's kind of like those IKEA instructions where you're looking at the pictures to figure it out. So it looks like you press greater than 3 seconds, time greater than 3 seconds. I'm going to have to try this out, see how we actually flick in between the modes. Charging instructions, so the light on the back glows red, turns green once it's charged. You can use the 1860 cell included, or you can use 2 CR123A batteries. These tend to be a bit pricey, and I know if you use 2 of those RCR123s or the 16340 cells, the voltage is too high for some of these flashlights, so I wouldn't go with those. I just stick with the 18650s, especially because it doesn't look like a high draw flashlight with 270 lumens. So only a lot of information on here. There's the warranty card. What's it come with? It says warranty registration card. That's great. So you got that 7-year warranty. This product's covered by a 2-year Ledlenser warranty, 7 years if you register the product. Rechargeable batteries are covered by a 24-month warranty for proper function, which cannot be extended. Okay, let's put this one away. There's a lot of pamphlets in here, hey? So what's this one? It's this one just says safety instructions and warnings. Where's the basic stuff? You know, don't short circuit the contacts. Product is meant to be used as a lamp. Don't swallow small parts. So, you know, it's kind of common sense stuff. This one here is a micro USB charger. So yeah, that's interesting because I know a lot of manufacturers stick with the USB-C now, so I'll be interested to see how fast it actually charges this flashlight up. But given that it's an 18650 cell, and I wonder if it's protected. Let's open this up. I'm not sure. It looks like it's a flat top cell. Flat top. Okay, so it's a flat top cell. Lithium-ion battery, 18650, 2500 milliamp hours, 9.25 watts per hour. Rechargeable, don't short circuit. Yeah, it doesn't say whether it's protected or not. But I know there's a little holder inside the flashlight that will actually grasp onto this battery, and then you plug the charger straight into the back of that. Okay, so let's open it up and put the battery in. So we just unscrew it like this. Wow. Okay. Nicely square cut threads as well. And there's a little kind of another bit that you unscrew out. So you gotta, I think, unscrew this. Okay, there you go. So that's the battery holder. I've never seen a design like this before. It's quite interesting. It's There we go. So it kind of just popped the battery in there. Positive terminal, and yep, it goes here. Okay. Oh, it's a really snug fit. Yeah, that's a super snug fit in there. And I'm going to put this back in now. Yeah, interesting design. I wonder if I can unscrew this side of the head too. Nope. Okay, that must be the mechanism. Oh, look at that. So this lets you change the colors. So you just simply turn it. Really nice and smooth sort of design. I like that. Let's put in the battery. Oops, wrong way. This way. Screw that back in. This is made of plastic, but the actual flashlight tube is aluminium alloy. Put that in, screw that in like that. And this must be a way to increase the contact. You can see there's better contact points at the back of the flashlight. Maybe there's a protection circuit or something inside there as well. I assume that there might be a protection circuit. And there's two contact points on the back end of the flashlight. You can see where they sort of contact on the side of the ring and then in the middle there. So join that. And very nice smooth action here. So this is what the light looks up close, and impeccable anodizing. That's something I've always noticed with these LED Lenser products. Very, very kind of like a nice balance between smooth and shiny at the same time. Nice and simple, but looks quite professional. The bit where the lid screws off, you can barely see the join in there as well. There's a little bit here, you could potentially engrave your name or something in there. Okay, you've got the name of the flashlight here on the side. Now, I wonder if the head can be unscrewed. No, I'm not able to unscrew the head of that flashlight. Oh wow, so check this out. This is the focusing mechanism here. There's a lot of lubricant under there. Some of it's kind of gone straight in the center, but it's nice and a smooth sort of motion. It sort of comes out. Doesn't extend any further than that. It's a little bit tricky to see, but there's actually 4 LEDs under there, and they look to be all encapsulated in one large dome. I don't know what LED this is, guys. They don't put it on their website, so I'm not sure of what brand they are or whether they're just an internal or an in-house brand. If you guys have any idea what these are, let me know, because I'm interested. A couple of them remind me of those Cree dies, the ones that have those 3 rectangular portions inside. But that red one has a whole bunch of little separations inside. So I'm not sure what this is. It'd be interesting if any of you know. So you can see as I just pull that head out, okay, it focuses, then brings it closer. There's a lot of lubricant under there as well. I think I'm going to clean that up a little bit. It should only be in those little grooves where the mechanism moves up and down. You can just turn the flashlight body or the flashlight head to select the color of the LED that you want. Really quite a smooth, seamless process here. I like that that integration there where you've got just a dial here to change the lights and then the back button here to change to turn it on and off. And I really like how this dial here, it allows you to change that light on the go. So the light's already on, but you can actually keep switching it, okay, and change the light temperature on the go. I think this is going to be really useful, especially for some light photography, to be able to switch just like this, because normally, you know, with a lot of flashlights, there's only one button that you press, and you have to press in different timing and configurations to get a feature to show up. So having 2 points of contact here, I think just makes it easier. So color, and then on the back, whether the light's on or off. You have this button on the back here, and you can press that, turn on the flashlight, so it's currently on red. Now if I leave it for 3 seconds and press that button again, switches off. But if I press that button on and then I press it again within 3 seconds, it cycles through the modes. See, it gets sort of darker. That's the lowest mode, and then finally it switches off. A pretty interesting UI. If you press this button, press and hold it, also you get this strobe effect, and it's an interesting strobe effect. It's kind of like a rainbow colored strobe. I don't know, it looks like a party strobe or something, but it's kind of disorientating. I'm going to turn that off now. Oops. Okay. And the focusing system in this light seems to have changed from the P17 that I got initially, which has, it moves the entire head, as you can see, and a lot more distance as well, okay, compared to something like that. You know, it moves, what's that, nearly just a centimeter, or, you know, just about half a centimeter up. So, yeah, interesting. And if you check out the lens of the flashlight, there are some similarities, but this center part of the lens is kind of more bulbous, convex on this one than it is on that one. It's flatter. And I know Ledlenser produce custom lenses for each of their flashlights, so I think probably for smaller ones like that, they've just optimized it to be in a smaller profile but still be able to throw a decent distance, whereas this one's probably optimized for throw. Alright, I've got some tactical military gloves on now. I just want to see how the flashlight feels with these on. And as you know, with gloves, when you're wearing them, you do lose a bit of that tactile response. You're just not as dexterous as you are without them. So, you know, as you can see, just operating this flashlight with the gloves, quite easy. You've got one button here on the back to turn on that flashlight, turn it off. So, turn it on. And let's switch it over to that blue. There we go, blue. Okay, so pretty simple, and you can even use that little zoomy mode as well, like that, quite easily with these gloves on. So I think that passed the test. Two things that I've been impressed with so far is the UI, just how simple it is to use to flip between colors, and then here as well to switch between on and off and all the different light output modes, so you're not confusing everything with one switch. I also really like the construction. It's got this really nice silky smooth anodizing to it that you only see in high quality flashlights. You can just see the attention to detail here on the construction, and I'm going to charge it up fully and play with it outside, do some tests on my light meter and also some beam shots outside. After that, we'll come back and I'll give you my final thoughts. Alright, so I've got the P6R Core QC, and I'm going to turn it straight on to the normal white light mode. And this is the light on unfocused mode, so just with the lens all the way to the retracted. We focus the lens in, you've got a nice smooth round beam at the end. I find when you're using it outdoors, that beam looks a lot smoother than when I'm using it indoors, and because I'm working on a lower, because you're just working with smaller distances, you do see the dye of the LED, but when you're outside, you really can't tell the difference. Okay, and I can go and move that over to red now. Look at that. It's just as bright as that white, and surprised how the colored lights look as well, how bright they are. Look at how it just illuminates the building down the end, that sign especially. And this red light will be good if you're trekking outdoors and you don't want to ruin your night vision. This is the highest mode, but you can, of course, lower the brightness as well. Look at that. Great for some photography effects too. Let's switch it over to, what have we got? We've got green. So that appears really bright, even almost as bright as that white LED. It's like almost like a fluorescent green, very saturated green. I say like a lime green color even. I like the versatility of this lens. Look at that. Really just narrow in on whatever you want to see. And if we go on to the blue mode now, look at that. That is potentially the brightest out of all the LEDs, or it just appears really bright to me anyway. You can see the blue beam come out of the end of the light. It's so close to that UV spectrum. Look at that. You can see that beam coming out, that light. Starting off on the white light, it's a really useful smooth beam, as you can tell, especially with these lenses. Look at that, someone's thrown a chair in here. And you know, zoom in a little bit as well. So that's a switch to red. And the great thing about red of this wavelength is that it doesn't bug night vision. So this is really on the highest lumens. I think it's 100, and so this is really on the highest mode. But if you tap the button again, you can reduce it down. Maybe a bit tricky for the camera to capture, but it goes all the way down to about 15 or so lumens. And of course I'm in the city, but out in a more quiet area without any lights, that would actually be quite useful. This is green light, and I think we're most sensitive to green light actually. Correct me if I'm wrong. Actually reaches all the way to the other end as well. Blue light. Strangely enough, I think this is the one with the highest lumens. I mean, it only said it was 35 lumens, but I don't believe that. It looks more intense than the other modes, the other colors. It's starting to near the ultraviolet spectrum. And this is a useful mode, obviously if you're doing photography and stuff, but also for tracking. Trying to locate fluids and things like that. Definitely I think there's got to be some type of UV in this light. The back of that train fluoresces like anything, even from this distance. Interesting. Alrighty, so I am back now after using this flashlight for a week, and I wanted to go through a few observations, a few things I liked, and also a few things I thought could be improved, maybe some considerations for the next model. So I have found it to be pretty versatile in terms of a variety of situations. So whether you're looking for a light with a flood beam, for night walk, hiking, stuff like that, or whether you just want to add some external colors to your photography. I have used it a little bit while doing some light photography, and I find that the flood and the spot beam are really good. With the spot beam, you can do some more drawing and get some very sharp lines, whereas with the flood beam, you can really illuminate parts of the photograph, parts of the scene, so that you can get a whole bunch of different colors in there. I find that the green setting here, it's really useful for just using at night, and our eyes are a lot more sensitive to green light. So I did find that to be pretty noticeable, a lot more noticeable than it actually appears on camera. It's definitely not the brightest flashlight, but the different colors are really handy. I use the red beam also when hiking in the dark to avoid ruining my night vision. And the ability to zoom in and out is quite helpful when you want to see some objects that are further ahead. One of the things I read was that a lot of animals are not able to see red or green light, so this will be very helpful for you. There's also a few different brightness settings that allow you to change just the intensity of the light as well. If you find that the top setting is too bright, I do find that sometimes it is. And the great thing is that it also has this blue LED. It doesn't produce many lumens, but it's really weird. It seems like the brightest one. It's just that that light isn't as visible as, say, the white or the green light. It's especially good if you're trying to identify fluids or blood, stuff like that underneath the light. So it's pretty good. I do find that the blue also emits a little bit of UV, and I sort of figured this out coincidentally because I was using it on the train tracks and I was shining it at the back of a train, and you could see just some of the reflective material really fluoresce off in the dark, even from a significant difference, a few hundred meters. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. I really like this rotating ring bezel. It's something I haven't seen in a flashlight before. I know some other manufacturers trying to incorporate some kind of design like this, but it's just so smooth, so seamless, especially when you just want to switch to different colors. You're not messing around by trying to press this button, press and hold, to add in that functionality here on that back button, I think would just be too much to deal with. So having them separated out like that is actually surprisingly useful and intuitive. I think more manufacturers should incorporate this sort of design in their lights, especially in enduro lights, because especially in the light that I have, the IF25A or the SC31 Pro, I do find that they are a little bit tricky at times to get into certain modes and this and that. So, I mean, there could be just a way to incorporate that into future lights, something to think about. A lot of simple UIs, just one button is completely fine. So a few other things I like, I thought it was a really impressive design. So one-handed operation, you can easily just put on a glove and actually use that one-handedly to switch between the different modes, the different colors. You can even just use this here. You can go from that spot to the throw beam quite easily with one hand. You can also change modes one hand and sort of flick it back. A little bit fiddling around, but it's definitely doable. The build quality is fantastic on this flashlight. The anodizing is one of the toughest I've seen on the market. And if you've seen my 12-year-old P17, you understand what I mean. Barely a scratch. I kept this in a bag when hiking with a few other torches hitting against it. There was even a bit of sand in the bag as well. And as you can see, it's held up really well. The UI is really simple as well. Switching brightness is pretty easy. Just have to click through the 4 modes of brightness and finally to off. So you can just start off, say, with that's the highest mode, then it will just continue to go down. That's the lowest mode. Now, if you leave it in a certain mode like this, wait for a few seconds, 3 seconds, and then click that back button, turns off, okay? But if you turn it on and then you continue to click, it will just cycle through all those modes until it finally turns off. In order to access the strobe, you just press and hold that back button. Nice little emergency mode if you need it. You can also mechanically lock the light by unscrewing the tail cap 1/8 of a turn. So that's, hang on, switch it on there. Now we can just basically unscrew this like that and it turns off. So I think that's really good. The P7 doesn't let me do that. It's also really good to see Ledlenser are finally getting on board with their lithium-ion technology. Have a couple of their lights. One of them got stolen, the P7. This is my P17 and it runs on alkaline cells, which is really good for emergency situations if you need to stockpile them and what have you. But the only issue is that they tend to leak and they also don't have as high of a draw capacity. So tend to be a lot dimmer in terms of when you're comparing them to lithium ion lights. And the good thing with this light as well is that it does come with the ability to charge it via a USB cable. The light comes with a 7-year warranty, though you need to register online. So that's another pro. So in terms of improvements and considerations, one of the things I found a little bit strange is this odd battery holder design, and I might have already taken it out in the introduction video, but this is what it looks like. So you can see here you plug in the USB cord. It's just a micro USB. I'll just take it out first, and you unscrew it from the back of the flashlight like that. And this little holder is where you pop the 18650 cell in. You kind of got to take it out from the bottom and pop it out like that. But what I found was, since I have another external charger, I actually connected it up to my other charger, charged it from there, and then plugged it in. Good news is that it does charge this battery pretty quickly. At the same time, it's just a design that I thought, why not just remove this entirely and just have the flashlight and just have the battery sit straight in the tube. But it does seem to be pretty solid, and perhaps it will keep out some dust and stuff like that as well. Another thing that I thought would have made this flashlight a bit better is just having some type of side switch. There's a switch here on the back, and of course this rotational design, but when I want to change the brightness of the flashlight, I'm having to go over and press that N button rather than just having a button here that I can switch on and off. Find some of these tactical flashlights, they also have a side switch as well that you can control the brightness. You can even have shortcuts to turn off the flashlight, that kind of thing. I'm not really sure what the LEDs are on this flashlight. The details aren't available, but 270 lumens for the white LED is certainly plenty for most applications, though a higher driven or brighter LED for the white beam would have been a nice bonus. Given some of the heat-seeking challenges of having 4 LEDs on the same board, perhaps something like a luminous SST20 or maybe a Nichia 219/519 could be a consideration for future models. I did find that there was no heat issues at all. I didn't even feel the light get warm when using it for extended durations. The color rendering index measurements that I took on my Opal Lightmaster Pro were approximately 75. And look, this could be slightly off as well due to the entry-level meter that I'm using. So if you're looking for a good quality focusable light with 4 color options, this could definitely be the one for you. I like how it's versatile for a range of hobbies, professions, things like fishing, animal tracking, photography, videography. That's what I use it for mainly, as well as general use. What do you think about this light? Let me know in the comments. Also check the description where I've put a link to the P6R QC and also the Ledlenser website for more details. If you found this video helpful, I'd appreciate if you click the like button. Also, remember to subscribe if you want to see more reviews.